So, most people are wondering how things work around here as you joined into a caregiving situation.
Yeah.
Because you joined in just as my dad was starting to have his health problems.
Yes.
But I'd already been taking care of my mom. You literally met my dad in the hospital.
Yes, that's a fun
while he
story.
was sedated.
Yes, the best way to meet your future in-laws is when they're heavily sedated in a hospital bed.
And then in 2016, we moved in with my folks after my dad got home from the hospital. And then moved out a couple years later.
When Lydia was born.
And then moved back after my dad passed. And then bought a house so that my mom could live with us outside of her condo. So that's a lot to undertake.
Yeah.
So how has that worked on your end coming into this?
There was definitely a learning curve for me because, as you said, you were already essentially the primary caregiver for two adults when we met. My parents at the time were relatively healthy, so it was not something I had the experience in, but I wanted to be there to help. And sometimes it meant asking stupid questions, and sometimes it meant reassuring you, like, it's okay that you go do this, or I can meet, we're still dating, I can meet you later, or I can come up to you, you don't have to come down to me, just a level of understanding with everything going on.
And then when merging households, did that get tricky, especially because my dad was not the best patient?
Well, at that point, we were already over to their house several times a week anyway, at least once a week. Plus, you would go over during
when you were
lunchtime when I was at work. Yeah,
lots of phone calls during the day to check on things.
Every night the phone call. So, which, as she will say, my family doesn't talk. We don't. We are quiet. We eat dinner quietly. She wants to laugh hysterically because it's so bad, and her family talks. So, they would talk throughout the day, and then at night, we'd be in our apartment, and she'd say, all right, I'm going to go call the folks. And it would be another 20, 30, 40-minute conversation. I'm like, you've talked several times today. What do you still have to talk about? And they just talk. They're close like that. That's just what it is. And I was confused. But they're already a part of our lives for so long, so the merging wasn't that big of a shift between when we were there after your dad got home from the hospital, checking on your dad when your mom was in rehab, and then after your dad passed and moving in, there was not a plan B. There's not well, what else could we do so we don't have to do this? That's not a thing.
Yeah.
And that's not even a financial thing. It's why would we put her in a home? She can make her way around here. We can make that work. And even we had more than enough money to do that, which we don't because healthcare is expensive.
Yeah.
But it's why would you? I mean, she can't babysit the kids, but she can interact with them and talk with them, and she's helped Lydia with telling time. It's just been from playing, going, oh, I'm gonna take a moment to do this, and not make it an official thing. So it's just how life is here. And
do you feel like you're missing out on anything by having that caregiving aspect from the get-go?
It's hard to say because that's just what it's been. I mean,
it didn't scare you off or anything. I mean, obviously not, but
no. But it was never under an illusion of once we get married, we'll be away from it all. That was never a thing.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to take you away from all this. No, I'm here to help you with this.
It was just sometimes individual challenges regarding health care.
Yeah.
Not relationships, but administering health care needs. Especially to my dad.
Yeah.
With my mom, it's more frustrating of tell us what's wrong. With my dad, it was please do what you need to do. Take your medicines.
Check your sugars.
Yeah, so that's where the struggles were.
Stop hiding Hershey bars in the freezer.
Yeah. And so was it difficult to maneuver around the interesting relationship dynamics I had to have with them? It wasn't just daughter to parent. It was caregiver to parent.
I mean,
because in the beginning you were taken aback by how I might have spoken to them or how they spoke back to me.
Well, you guys talk, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yes and no. Like I said, it's kind of all I've known it to be. So it's not like we were together for a while and then there was this dynamic shift. It was just like,
that's, I think, might be the difference between the question here of just how did you navigate those changes? Because those changes were not changes. You just walked into it.
Yeah.
It just changed in terms of...
It's just kind of the depth of the pool. It's you're still in the same pool.
Yeah, it's just... you're just swimming around it now. Would you give any advice or helpful hints and tips of how to merge that or find time as a couple outside of those needs?
I mean, I think what we've usually done pretty well is that time. Like, we find the times for certain things. Sometimes it's 1 a.m, but it's time together. It's time to
we have
talk.
like little couples meetings at 1 a.m. So this is what needs to happen, or this needs to happen.
Or sometimes it's just like, so what's new?
What's going on with you? Like, we were discussing buying the car that we needed to buy after the accident, like 2 a.m, because it was quiet, no interruptions, and that's just how it had to be.
Almost asleep. Kids are asleep.
What do we have to do to buy a car?
We're scrolling.
So it's just finding a different kind of normal.
Yeah.
And that could mean still texting each other while one is in the kitchen and one's in the living room. Because sometimes that's the only way to say what you gotta say. And
sometimes it's kind of those rules you hear with, when you have a new infant. It's like, okay, when they're laying down, we'll take care of this. You rest when the baby rests. You have to find the dynamic that works in your house, because what works in our house might not work in yours, or vice versa. Like, there are people who might be in our situation, but then they can bring in another person to be a caregiver if they have to go away for a weekend.
Like respite.
Yeah.
Care, yeah.
So if that's not really an option for us. So like, my dad just had his 70th birthday last month. I took our kids to St. Augustine. She couldn't go because there's no one else to take care of her mom. We were trying to figure out who we could get, if we could pay someone else, and it was just not feasible. And so
that's just what it was.
Yeah. So it was weird to go without her, and not fair. Also, it makes sense for me not to go to my dad's and stay home. So you find what works, and you have to find the balances.
And always still communicate somehow, even if that means it's just through texts. But yeah.
So for me, it's helpful, so I can go back home and say, oh gosh, I need to do this. Where am I going next? Oh, I gotta pick that up.
And then, I don't know your relationship with your dad who's moved in, but I would say being open and communicating with them is also key. So if that means a little family meeting to establish boundaries, we have those, and we call family meetings to go, hey, this is kind of getting wonky around here. So that might need to happen, and that's also a meeting for anybody in your house, of how things are going to work. And it could change. What worked 6 months ago might not work anymore.
And make sure if you're having those meetings, have this conversation before you talk to everyone else, so you're on the same page. Otherwise, it's just a family argument.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, okay, absolutely, and then the conversation later, what were you babbling about? Because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
You don't want to say that in front of your spouse.
So yeah, I would say just give yourself and your family grace during this time, and know when to apologize, and know when to admit if you've been wrong about something, or be open enough to say, hey, I don't like how this is being handled on your end. But yeah, it can take time to find the dynamic. And don't be frustrated if the dynamic changes, because of health changes, individual changes, life changes. If it's not working, it's time to have another meeting to figure out what needs to be changed and worked on. So yeah. But I hope everything works out with you and that your dad's doing okay and that you're doing okay during this transition.
It's a lot. Just give yourself time, and the same pressure you're feeling, make sure check in with everyone else too, and just make sure everyone's able to share the load.
Yeah. From the sounds of it, you said your husband is doing okay with everything, and I think you'll be okay. All right.